Hello, this is Chris Barr, once again with GamerFront.net. We are back live at E3 2012, and I am standing here with Brian Wheeler. He's the PvP lead on Elder Scrolls Online. How you doing?
Doing good. How about you?
Doing great. So we just watched some of the demo for Elder Scrolls Online, and it looked fantastic. One of the first things that everyone wants to know is how and why is this different than World of Warcraft?
It's different from a lot of games out there because it is Elder Scrolls Online with your friends. So all those things that you played in, Oblivion, Skyrim, Morrowind, that world is coming to life, and you can play it with your friends. So it's the first time that that's going to be available. So you can hop online, have you and me join up, run around in locations like Cyrodiil, run around in Daggerfall, and be like, hey, this feels home. This is very comfortable. And so it brings a lot of that lore in the story from Elder Scrolls Online.
Excellent. And combat, I took a look at it, and rather than seeing the general setting up your macros, going through a rotation for every battle, it seemed more organic. It seemed more like something I would see in an Elder Scrolls game. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it's based off of the things that you're familiar with in Elder Scrolls. Everybody has stamina, magicka, and health. Everybody can use those various pools differently to do things like block, sneak, and sprint. So every class can do that. So everybody can have the same kind of core mechanics, but everybody uses them differently. Like, mage casters, obviously they use the magicka to throw fireballs, and everybody uses, stamina to sprint. But what's cool about it also is that everybody can use any weapon. So as a person who's a caster, you can run around with a sword and maybe a dagger. And the other thing, the backside of that is you see somebody in a robe and they have a staff. You think one thing, you see somebody in a robe with a sword, you go, what am I getting ready to get into here? Conversely, somebody that's in heavy armor isn't restricted to sword and board or a two-hander. They can pick up and use a bow, and that's really cool too.
Excellent. And I saw that we can actually interact with other characters as far as casting spells and having our attacks work together rather than independently. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's what we call synergies, where somebody can run in, lay down an area, which creates an opportunity for another person to run in and hit a button and make them get benefited from it. One of the examples we talk about is Healing Reigns, which is an area for healing, but when you walk into it, you can also hit your action button and you'll get healed. So it's like another heal on top of that. So we don't make it where you need to be grouped with somebody to help them out.
In the demo, they mentioned that they're actually rewarding players for being good at combat, for doing good combat. Tell us how that is.
There's a system called the finesse system, and the better you handle the combat as it's thrown at you, like if you block, knock people off balance, do the right things at the right time, you build up your finesse, and you can get more experience or even item rewards from doing very well.
One thing that was mentioned, and I got to see briefly, was 200-man PvP. I didn't believe it when they told me, and then I saw that brief clip of two armies just running at each other, and that is your domain specifically. Tell us how 200-man combat really works.
It's insane, for one. I mean, you always hear 200 people go, really, and then you see it happen in front of you. Even us in the studio go, holy crap, this is really cool. And that was just two sides. When we introduced, the third side into those fights, it's just pandemonium. It's awesome. So it starts off chaotic, where everybody slams into each other, but then it starts to separate. Like the melee guys are there, then it's heroic casters, then it's the healers behind them, and then the whole thing just starts to move. So it's really wild when you come across a hill and you see like a meteor come from the sky. You're like, oh, there's a fight, but you have no idea how crazy the fight is until you crest it and see that huge fight. Man, it's something that we've been wanting to do in an MMO space for forever. I've missed it. So getting out there, seeing the three-sided fights, 200 people fighting each other, it's awesome, and we're just beginning to press that envelope.
Are these going to take place in specific battlegrounds, or is there an open area that armies are just going to kind of meet?
There's the PvP space is Cyrodiil, which is from Oblivion. We use various locations in there that you can run around as focal points. So like the Iliad ruins that you're familiar with, or towns from Oblivion, they're reproduced in our game 700 years prior to Oblivion, 1,000 years prior to Skyrim. So the clocks were rewound a bit, but they're going to be familiar locations, and that's where people sort of gravitate to. And the more people gravitate to those areas, it just sort of organically grows and grows and grows into those huge fights.
Excellent. So tell us a little about like one-on-one PvP. Are there going to be different types of PvP like we've seen in other games? like capture the flag style, things like that.
We will have Battlegrounds. We're not talking too much about those yet, but we will have those for people that only have like 15 minutes to play. Of course, we got to do that. That's just standard fare for any type of modern game out there, whether it's an RPG or an FPS. So we will have that game mode. But in Cyrodiil, there are things to do for solo players, small groups, the large group, and of course, you know, that 200-person battle. So there'll be something out there for everybody to do in Cyrodiil as well as the Battlegrounds.
Excellent. And when can we look forward to seeing this on store shelves?
2013 is when we're going to have it open.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And once again, this is Chris Barr at GamerFront. We'll see you more at E3.